Despite all the hype which is created in between Manchester City and Arsenal in the Premier League table, David James just commented that it would be too wrong to just rule Liverpool out of this game. Cole Palmer from Chelsea has created the history of creating hat-tricks in a game where he is on the verge of 9 minutes 46 seconds to complete this hat-trick. But the top hat-trick scorer being Sadio Mane from Southampton versus Aston Villa in the year 2015 in just 2.56 minutes. So who is the fastest of all? Guys, welcome back to another episode with FC RAMSAY, and the Premier League match days of Saturdays are over and we are on to Sundays. But the big clash of Newcastle facing City at St. James Park, their home, and City has just dropped in consecutive weeks, the second week running, where their winning position points were dropped down and Anthony Gordon has equalized from the penalty spot in the second half. City were looking quite reluctant, and the absence of their key midfielder Rodri, who will miss the whole season due to the ACL injury, which happened to him during the draw against Arsenal last week. So City were way off best without him there, and they didn't go well because the first goal from Joseko Guardiola, the assist of Grealish from the left, but they were nowhere seen to be crossing the line of the penalty box or the edge in the second half as well. After Gordon scored that penalty, the start of the last season where the Premier League games, at least four more than anyone else, could have just had a goal for Newcastle. But Newcastle ended this game stronger, and they may even feel that this was a missed opportunity to beat their reigning champions. The Manchester City fans must be thinking what is in store for them in this season. But City remains at the top of the table for just a few hours, whereas Arsenal and Liverpool, they were completely able to overtake them, and the table stands tall where Liverpool with 6 matches have won 5 and they are on 15 points, whereas Manchester City and Arsenal are drawing in the second and third position with 14 points. So actually what happened in this game where City was having the complacency of Gundogan, Luis and Kovacic in the midfield, but the presence of Rodri was filled deficit in this game as Bernardo Silva and Gundogan were not looking that clinical in their finishings, and Haaland, despite having some header chances, some shooting chances, which he couldn't convert, the pressing of Newcastle, especially in their own half, was looking quite good, and their counter attacks, their manager Eddie Howe, who sustained them with those counter attacks, and City were looking quite vulnerable, especially after the 70th minutes. So it was a point shared away between Manchester City and Newcastle, and Guardiola would be happy about that because his new formations, the tactical gameplays which he is implementing this new season, is not looking that great. So this was all about Newcastle and Manchester City. But talking about that of Arsenal, despite having so many injuries and playing at the home of Emirates against Leicester City, the Arsenal is having a good season. But despite their injuries of Tomiyasu, Zinchenko, Tierney, Odegaard, and Mikel Merino, they are not looking that much deficit in their gameplay. They have suited themselves well, especially the scoring of Martinelli, Trossard, and Saka. Trossard was really the man of the match of this moment. But unfortunately, the playmaking of that unorthodox Havertz at the number 29th position, the centre forward from Arsenal, they were quite good and they had a convincing 4-2 victory over Leicester. The pairing of different substitutions of Raheem Sterling and Ethan Nwaneri, the big guy, the best guy from the previous match, with the likes of Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal has their inventory full of stocks and they can definitely use it. But they are not far from the Premier League counting table as well because the game points, the match numbers, the fixtures are really going to be quite critical in this long season of the Champions League as well. Talking about the next, where Brentford and West Ham had a decent draw, and at the Gets Community Stadium, where West Ham's Lopetegui is not having a decent season, this gameplay would really give him a boost for their team of Sosek and Lucas Paqueta with the likes of Kudus and Bowen and Antonio as their forwards. So Lopetegui must be having to reconcile his tactics, his gameplay for the rest of the season, and their numbers in the Premier League table is not looking that much efficient. But the most inspiring part is that Chelsea is back in their own form and under Endo Maresca, their performance, Palmer's 4 goals with a penalty in between them, and the comparing of Sancho, the new fresh in the team, and Jackson as well as Madueke are looking too good. And Chelsea, despite having some ugly and some disappointing past seasons, They are looking good in the form, and they have really topped in the table at the fourth position. So Chelsea at the fourth position, could you imagine if they were just 4 or 5 years back? So Chelsea has really done this, and they need to prove this consistency the whole season to do so. But yes, Cole Palmer took the center stage at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea recovered from a slow start despite being 2 goals behind in just 34 minutes. After that, it was all about Chelsea to overcome, and they extend their winning streak to 4 games. So Chelsea's Cole Palmer has made history with this hat trick, and he is the player who has just converted those hat tricks in 9 minutes and 46 seconds. So, what is in store for Chelsea the rest of the season? Yes, definitely we will do have a look at it. But Hosler has just complimented his team, and he has said that the playmaking of Cole Palmer was looking quite a record breaking, and he is well acknowledge the player for his performance in this game. So that's all for Chelsea and Brighton on this game, but Everton having a win of 2-1 against Crystal Palace was not quite that much expected because seeing Dag against Oliver Glasner, Glasner did have a make commitment where Gohei in the 10 minutes he had a scoring chance, but McNeil just converted those 2 goals in the 47 minutes and 54 minutes to get the edge over Crystal Palace. Whereas talking about the match between Wanderers and Liverpool at the home stadium of Molinex of the Wanderers, where Arne Slot's start to this season of Liverpool as a boss has continued, where they beat Wolves by 2-1 to the top of the Premier League table. And yes, under Arne Slot, Liverpool are looking quite good. Their character development of the players, especially Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota, McAllister, and what not to say about this midfield of Gravenberg, which he is looking such monstrous, and his presence in the field, despite having the presence of Wataru, Indo, and Concha, and Samikas, and Bradley. Arne Slot had stuck with Robertson, Van Dijk, Konate, and Alexander Arnold at the centre backs, and the pairing of Gravenberg and McAllister is looking deadly, especially to talk about Luis Diaz and Szoboszlai with Diogo Jota are looking lethal. But the most legendary part of it is that of Mohamed Salah, who is creating those disturbances. And definitely, Anfield fans, all the Liverpools, the Reds are really looking for a clinch league in this season, and they can get for a silverware very soon if they don't lose away points very cheaply. So that was all from the Premier League. This weekend we are having Manchester United in Tottenham. We will be doing the watch along of this match also, and then comes the classic battle of Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid, where Simeone could he just make that history count again, where he can cross to oversee a victory over Real Madrid and in the last season, and he is looking to repeat that trick. So we will be having the watch along of Manchester United and Tottenham as well as that of Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. But what is your say about the epic clash between Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich, which we streamed the past day? So do have a say. And yes, before ending this stream, do have a like, do share, do subscribe. Bye bye, guys.